That's a good thing.
Okay. With that in mind, each class in the game has their role to play. Our group consisted of 2 warriors, a rogue, an enchanter, a shaman, and myself, the cleric.
Enchanter's
the
probably
warriors
just a mage.
acted as main tank and...
Clearly has never played EverQuest. So that is a CC role, a crowd control role. Enchanters can do
I didn't. I never
some
played
direct
EverQuest.
damage, some dots. You
Yeah.
can even summon a really terrible pet. But enchanters have always been a crowd control class. Bards are also a crowd control class in this game. And the same will be true in Pantheon. So I don't think World of Warcraft really even has this. I know back in the day it was not even in Classic. I don't remember it being a big thing to crowd control all kinds of things. We did off tanking. I remember that.
I don't know about that.
That was pretty much your CC, but I don't remember crowd control being a very big thing in World of Warcraft.
Yeah.
I know it wasn't PvP a little bit. Like you would try to take a guy out of combat by, using sheep or polymorph or something like that.
Yeah.
But it was actually a big part of PvE in EverQuest, but it will be in Pantheon as well.
Off tank, the rogue and enchanter were there for DPS and crowd control. The shaman was for off heals and DPS.
This game looks like if WoW took out every single ability, and the only thing that you could do was auto attack. He's gonna be mad.
So that's a pretty serious criticism right there. And I'll address that. What he's saying is, all I'm seeing are the standard attack 3D animation, right? That's what he's saying.
Pretty much.
I'm not seeing like an uppercut, flaming uppercut, dagger move or anything like that. That's what he's looking for. So he wants flashy looking moves like he's accustomed to seeing in World of Warcraft. He wants the whirlwinds. He wants that sort.
Yeah, I want it whenever I cast an ability. I want it to look fucking awesome. I want it to look fucking badass. Like, whenever I play... Look, I pulled this shit up so many times, dude. Whenever I fucking play... This is what I want to fucking see, okay? I want to see a warrior going crazy. I want to see some crazy-ass, wild motherfucking bullshit spinning around, massive red circles everywhere. People are fucking dying. You're healing up to full health every attack. It looks awesome. Yes, I want this, man. No, I don't want my guy to just be... No, yeah, I want it to look fucking cool. Fuck yes, I do. Am I wrong for wanting cool animations? It's the only thing that I think makes Diablo better than Path of Exile. Path of Exile's the mobility and everything and the casting animations are more stunted than Diablo 3's, in my opinion. I feel like that is the one point of advantage that Diablo 3 has over Path of Exile, right? Now, this is my opinion, okay? But everything else I think Path of Exile beats it on. But still, just that one thing makes me kind of miss Diablo 3. It matters a lot.
Sort of stuff. He's not seeing that. Now, I think that could be a fair criticism. That's not really a big deal. And I don't know what the development team has planned, but I do know that they're not done with the animations in this game. They just hired a guy, Ross Armstrong, and he's supposed to develop the animations further. I know they're going to have race-specific animations, allegedly for every race. I'm not sure if that's true or they're going to break that down by size or something like that.
Yeah,
that's good. I know that the work there is not done. And even if they weren't, it wouldn't ruin my day because that's not the most important thing to me. The most important thing to me here is this development team is committed to quote-unquote classic MMO game design, which is what really made MMOs great in the first.
Well, I want classic MMO game design. I just don't necessarily want classic MMO gameplay. Like, I don't see why you can't have the same philosophies that made games like EverQuest and World of Warcraft Classic the greatest games of all time, in my opinion, while at the same time not having some more flashy and fun-to-play characters. Like these don't need to be mutually exclusive.
Place. Turning it into a theme park where no one even cares about the end game anymore.
Here we go. Because I'm not happy with the gameplay. That means that I want to turn the game into a theme park where nobody cares about the end game. No, I think both of these things can exist simultaneously. You can have fun gameplay, while at the same time, you have a philosophy that drives players to want to continue playing.
They currently don't in BFA, because Asmongold has said in his own videos that no one even cares about the gameplay in BFA, because if you sit there and you spend a lot of time making a video talking about the strategy of World of Warcraft, no one's even going to care, because no one cares about the end game in World of Warcraft anymore.
That's
and it's
very
because
true.
they strayed from these values in the first place.
There because I felt like it.
No, the value isn't gameplay. Like, this is the thing. They're two different things. Like, I'm criticizing the implementation of like the way the game functions. I'm not criticizing the philosophy in which the game is designed under. Like, this is the player experience, not necessarily the philosophy and how players interact with the world and the way that it works. They're two separate things.
Healer Deeps for the win! I think I hit for like 2. Combat in general felt a bit more strategic than other MMOs I've played lately. The mobs we were fighting were lower level than us, which you can tell by using the consideration.
So that's what he's looking at. He's seeing everyone auto-attacking, quote-unquote. He wants to see some shield slams. He wants to see some kind of like overhand smash move. He wants to see whirlwinds.
Things become considerably
He wants to see
harder.
crazy stuff like that World of Warcraft brought to the... And I think it's a fair criticism. They did have nice animations and did look flashy. I don't know if that necessarily would work for this game. It could, but I don't want to see like crazy superhero type stuff.
Hit the wrong enemy and we could have ended up with the whole room on us. And while a few extra enemies may not seem like a big deal, what with these newfangled MMOs having you kill dozens of enemies at the same time.
One thing I will say was that when World of Warcraft came out, that was actually a big criticism of World of Warcraft, is that the animations look too cartoonish and childish. So really what we're talking about is two very different styles of 3D, the art style itself of the character models.
Okay.
So EverQuest goes for a more realistic art style, whereas World of Warcraft went...
I mean, like, is it really realistic, though? Like...
cartoonish and more over the top. I would also make another comparison to, say, Virtua Fighter. Virtua Fighter went from a more realistic approach, and that was a game that was more popular in Japan. And Tekken was more popular in the United States. And Tekken went for a more flashy, cartoonish, you'd spin kick somebody and like it looked like gunpowder was in his heel and his face explodes and like there's fireworks that go off when you kick someone in the head. That didn't appeal to me. Like, that's not what makes a game great to me. What makes a game great to me is gameplay depth, a lot of options, interesting choices, ways for a skilled player to show that they're a skilled player. So you're going to see a lot of delineation between the great players and the very average players, okay?
Yeah.
Now, World of Warcraft, you can see that they've gotten away from that. They've dumbed the game down. They've taken out all of these abilities. The old skill trees are gone, and they've dumbed it down and made it easier. They've given them, well, I would say, the less talented, less skilled players ways to advance in the ways that the skilled raiders do, right? So they're basically leveling the playing field and turning it into a theme park. So they're saying, hey, if you paid, you're going to get access to all of the goodies in the game because, hey, you bought the game, therefore it's a theme park.
I disagree with that just as much as he does. Obviously, I do. But what I don't necessarily agree with is, like, let me go back and listen to what he's saying.
There's ways to advance.
Oh, about like the character.
In the right?
The way that Blizzard designs the game now, right, is they use procs, and procs are supposed to be the way that bad players catch up with good players. But the problem with procs is that bad players don't know how to use procs, and they don't use them. So it actually increases the gap between bad players and good players. If you go and you do like an LFR, especially in Legion, the gap between the highest end players and the lowest end players is actually bigger now than it ever has been. I don't know actually about right now in BFA, but it was in Legion. It was massive. And Mike Preachwell actually did a video about this, right? The gulf between the high end and the low end players. And Blizzard, to combat this, increased the auto attack damage that players did in order to decrease the gap between high end and low end players. That's how pronounced it was. So yes, this actually is true.
So they're basically leveling the playing field and turning it into a theme park. So they're saying, hey, if you paid, you're going to get access to all of the goodies in the game because, hey, you bought the game, therefore it's a theme park, therefore you get goodies just like everyone else gets goodies, right? Because hey, we all paid for the game, so we get equal access.
I'm gonna
Now,
skip
that's
ahead in
not-
a minute.
That's fine if they want to make a game that way. That's fine, but
Okay.
that's not the kind of game I'm interested in. And the people that are interested in Pantheon and EverQuest and all those old, there were a lot of old classic MMOs that were designed this way. Final Fantasy XI, Dark Age of Camelot, and Asheron's Call. All of those old school games were designed that way.
In Pantheon, it means death. If you're not careful, wipes will happen often and quickly, as in seconds. 1 second you're fine, and
Okay.
everyone's happy and having a great time, and the next you're dead. And then it's time for the corpse run. Although this was a time-limited
yeah.
stream, so we got to use dev powers and just teleport back. But
Cheating
yeah,
Andy.
Nice.
very much
That
like
builds
an old
character.
school
Okay,
affair.
where's the
It was
boss?
more
Corpse
about
run
being
builds
on top of
character.
things
It's a
and
good thing.
strategic in your skill use and
I agree with that. I used to be able to do the corpse run from Thorium Point to BRD with my eyes closed. Because I basically had to do that because I was talking to my mom, explaining to her why I couldn't come to dinner and why I had to keep doing BRD again. I remember I'd have to come home and make sure that because I just die in there every fucking day. And I have to come home and make sure that I got into a group within an hour of getting home from school so I could finish BRD by the time that I had to go to bed. Yeah, I remember that really clearly.
consumption. The mini-boss herself was a somewhat difficult fight, with
Okay,
strong
let's see.
AoE spells coming down that made me do a lot of healing. And I also had to spend some time regaining mana during the battle. Oh yeah, I almost
Okay.
forgot. Like some other older MMOs, you'll need to sit to regain mana faster. Though if you're in combat, you'll actually stand and pray, allowing you to regain mana, just not as fast as sitting.
Stand
Anyway,
and
we
pray.
did manage to down the mini-boss, and that was our goal.
One thing I'll say about this, I've been thinking about this feature quite a lot. Because I do think sitting is really not necessary for casters. In fact, in the beginning when EverQuest came out, you actually had to stare at a spell book that blocked your entire screen. Now, I don't agree with that. I don't think it's necessary. In fact, I think
It's
what
not
would be
good
fine,
gameplay. It's not
I
good
believe Classic
gameplay.
WoW did this, where you could just not cast. And if you don't cast, it's considered meditation, or it's considered, hey, I'm not casting now, I'm focusing on
Yeah, if you don't cast for 5 seconds,
regenerating
yeah.
mana. And maybe moving would slow that down a little bit. So maybe standing still would always be the best way to regenerate mana.
Okay.
You know, it's debatable. It depends on, but of course that would make your casters feel like they have to stand still all the time. And you know, that's not as fun. I'll be honest. I don't think that makes the game better by forcing people to sit still. I think just tell them not to cast, and that should be fine for regenerating health and mana.
Okay.
As long as, I think that'd be fine.
For the stream. I don't believe it had been done before on stream, and I was the first one to
I'm
do
going
it.
to skip ahead.
I've
XL. I don't like it. And it's the same with this. Even though they have a very good idea behind the game, if they can't make that look better than this, nobody's going to want to play
That shit
it.
used to be loud.
Again, Ross Armstrong and others are working to improve these animations. So he's going to continue
We'll
to talk
skip to
about
his
how
final thoughts, okay? Let's go to
someone
the last,
somewhere said
like,
that these
the
are
last, like,
combat
5 minutes of the video, okay?
placeholders, which features that they're
Okay, let's see what he's got to say. Oh, this is whenever I'm making fun of how much money it costs. Okay, this is good. Yeah, I want to hear his reaction, because the pledges for Pantheon are really high. Like, if you look at the pledge, right, and you go, I'll show you guys. This is like $1,000 for like a pledge, and this is $10,000. Like that's a lot of money, and for a game that's been in early access, like pre-alpha, for 5 years. I mean, I feel like I'm taking crazy pills. Didn't PoE have something similar? Yeah, I mean, I think that it did, right? And it's all about like, like, what's really the word for it? It's about like trust, and what's like really the, like, yeah, they did have it. I think the highest was like $1,000 for Path of Exile. I would say the difference really, I mean, there isn't really much of a difference, but it's not like I was going around and saying PoE is the greatest game ever. It's going to be the best game ever. Like, it was in pre-alpha, right? And I wouldn't expect other people to say that either.
Right here.
Alex Central bought the $1,000 pledge. Look, man, that's not what I would do.
And let's see. So this is pledges, supporter pledges, champion pledges, VIP pledges, full game.
Why is my
exclusive
audio
VIP
so bad?
forum access. Oh, that's great for the game. We pay money and you just talk about the game. Let's see. Already pledged upgrade more. Okay, Keeper's Pledge, beta access, stack of...
Full investment. Basically,
Okay.
you are investing in the future of this game by helping to invest and make sure that a publisher isn't going to steer this company's development efforts into a toilet. See, that's what's happened with World of Warcraft, which is now... So Blizzard basically, no matter what they want to develop, they're going to be under the thumb of Activision, because Activision is the one that is basically driving this game off a cliff with all of their demands for micropayments and all of these ridiculous features that they're putting into WoW, which are dumbing everything down, and it's making the game too accessible, too easy. Everything's just, you know, everything is just dumbed down for players, and they're taking the challenge out of the game. So maybe if they had some kind of system that could help Blizzard not be at the behest of their publisher, maybe World of Warcraft wouldn't be in the state that it's in. So this is a pretty big difference from pay to win, a one-time investment to get access to certain features or early access, or, you know, a cloth.
I understand people want to invest in a game, right? There are plenty of games, right? If there was like a Dark Souls MMO that came out, right, and From Software did a Kickstarter, I'd donate money to that for that to happen, because I'd be very hopeful of that game being really good, and I'd want to support something that I believed in. And I understand that, but there also has to be a level of common sense here. I mean, the game's been in development, it looks like, for the better part of a decade. We're still not out of pre-alpha. The game looks very rudimentary. Yeah, I mean, like, if you're not skeptical, you're delusional. Come on.
App or a couple of there are a couple of in-game items that aren't even that big of a deal. I mean, give me a break.
I hope they just take your money and then it's actually not a pledge to the game. They actually just give you it's like a retainer for a therapy. Yeah, or some sort of like a psychiatrist, retainer for a psychiatrist for the person instead. Anyway,
I don't think I really did a good job communicating that joke. Basically, what I was saying is that the people that spend money on the game, the developer should just take that money and pay a psychiatrist, because you'd have to be mentally deficient in order to do it, right? And so I didn't communicate that very well, but that was what I was intending.
You're the one with Stockholm Syndrome. Maybe you need a psychiatrist, Zach.
Yeah, obviously, like, so they are giving out items.
Because I played the game, I played for 10 years. I'm critical of the game. Like, this is my favorite game. This is a criticism I get a lot, and I don't understand why. Yes, I am extremely critical of WoW. 100%. I'm very, very critical of the game. That doesn't mean that I hate the game. It doesn't mean I have Stockholm Syndrome. Yes, I'm not happy with the current state of the game. I've said many times, I love WoW. There's a lot of things that I do in WoW, even off stream. I'm playing WoW off stream. Like, I haven't a lot recently because I've been practicing for the Dark Souls thing. But for the most part, I play WoW all the time off stream too. I enjoy the game a lot. That doesn't mean that I can't be critical about it. People think that I'm generating negative feedback or something like this for for some sort of gain. I don't really get anything out of it. If anything, I lose. Because, you know, I'd lose potential opportunities that Blizzard might give me because I constantly complain about their game. There are people that want to live in a fantasy world that's beyond Azeroth, where WoW never has anything bad happen, and they stop watching the stream. Oh, you said something bad about my favorite game. I'm not going to watch anymore. You know, there's plenty of things that are negatives, right? And then also the biggest negative is the fact that I'm probably just yelling into the fucking void, and Blizzard doesn't even care. So, yeah, I mean, I'm not getting anything out of it, really. Fucking fanboys get so upset if I complain about the game, and people are like, oh, why don't you quit the game? It's like, I'm sorry, but there's more than 2 worlds to live in. Like the game and like everything about it, or quit. There's a fucking gray area.
In here, right? In-game item, in-game item,
Tunic
in-game
of
item.
the Ages.
Stack of
Game
illusion
breaking.
flasks. That's not a big deal.
We don't even know what that is. How are you going to be sarcastic about it being game breaking or not? if you don't know what it is. Yeah, I don't think mounts are game breaking either, but I think they diminish the integrity of the game. That's not the point that I was trying to make. I didn't say people buy the Tunic of Ages and it makes them the best character in the game. I said it diminishes the integrity of the game. And if a game that's developed is specifically out of making the integrity of the MMO and people are supporting it to create the integrity and promote that so they don't have to do with a publisher and have these other quotas and everything, and then you turn around to do the same thing with the Kickstarter pledges, it's a little bit hypocritical. I mean, give me a fucking break. We want to see a video of this guy reacting to you, reacting to him, reacting to you. We'll give it a week or so, okay? Yeah, this is the gift that keeps on giving.
But it's still in-game items. So even
no,
in this
flask
game,
of
you're getting something.
illusion.
Well, I don't know. I mean, like in an MMO, like, yeah, Flask of Invisibility, it sounds like that's really good. Like, yeah, Flask of Invisibility. Like, think about other things in invisibility. The One Ring in Lord of the Rings gave you invisibility. Man, that was a really good item, wasn't it? That'd be a legendary. The Cloak of Invisibility in Harry Potter. That was the whole thing about the first fucking movie. That's how he figured out about Voldemort and the guy with the turban on. Yeah, I mean, I'd say invisibility is a big fucking deal. Like, besides being able to, like, you know, I don't know, have some other crazy thing, like, be Superman. Yeah, that'd be, like, the one superpower I'd want is invisibility. That'd be fucking awesome.
Flasks.
And,
oh, no.
I think that's better than, like, having a cash shop, yeah. But there's still things that you get for giving them money, right? Have you seen the prices of ships in Star Citizen? No, I haven't. Not at all.
I have now. Yo, that shit's like $30,000 or something. Like, where's the most expensive? All right, most expensive package. New Star Citizen add-on pack costs over $27,000. So yeah, I mean, yeah. That seems like a lot of money on a game. Who the fuck buys that? Donald Trump.
Alex Central pledged $500. Yeah, I wouldn't have done that.
That's exactly what I said now. I wouldn't have done that. I wasn't trying to be mean or anything. I wouldn't have done that. That's all.
Yeah, I would not have done that. Yeah, I know Alex is a big supporter of, like, Pantheon.
Okay, here we go. These are his closing thoughts.
I
Time
don't
to jump
think it's
that sinking ship.
I really don't.
Zach, that
like,
ship
I think
is
it's
sinking
good for
fast,
a lot
buddy.
of competition.
Well, yeah, but like if I want to go on a sinking ship, that's like I'm on a sinking ship, and then you want me to jump over to the Titanic. Wait, like what do you mean?